The controversy continues. Global, interrelational, and in this lesson the crisis continues in the most inner being of the individual. Two forces fight within for their own interest and split in pieces the soul of every human.
It looks like that this quarter, at least so far, the goal is to go through different biblical stories, moving through history, and see what we can take to understand better the controversy in our rebellion against God and His desire to help us see better, make things working again, and restore the trust and dignity. This week we pick up where we left, and we cover the period from the first kings in Israel to the end of our Testament.
Yeah.
The first one we're looking at is no other but the man according to God's heart.
And King David stood strong against a giant in stature man, but lost ground against a beautiful woman. Consistency seems to be a missing element in our nature. The question is there a chance for a change?
This says a lot. Our nature is sinful. We are weak and we need help, even in our greatest moments when we conquer giants. Having an open heart and mind helps. Being remorseful, grieving, admitting our insufficiency, this builds up the relationship. And this and much more we see with David.
The heart is the source of all desires. Our desires prevail over our priorities and values, and our values form our religion. And our religion is where and what we worship. According to the lesson, it was fertility and income and wealth that actually brought Israel on their knees before Baal. Elijah, in the name of the Lord, came to challenge their choice. He wanted them to turn their hearts back to God.
In him we see again such boldness for the Lord, such courage. And then he loses it. One of the main points in Elijah's message is, how long will you limp between two opinions? People don't like committing, especially to relationships. Turning one's heart is a deep experience.
The two historical events in the history of Israel mentioned in the lesson, the first one at the time of Hezekiah with the besiege of Jerusalem, and the second one in the book of Esther, when the death decree was issued for the death of every Jew, are an enormous encouragement for every man who is looking for God as a savior. Both stories say that God is a live and present player in the big controversy. In the first one, we see that he can send angels and kill thousands of soldiers if that is needed. But also from the second story, we see that God has people working his plan in places that we don't even know. So are we looking for his help daily or even in bigger obstacles in our life?
Arrogance is so characteristic to our nature. We get some power and we think that we are untouchable. The Syrian king's defiance against God was a big mistake. God has the power and control, but he plays a different game. He wants us to understand that it's not about that. With Esther, it's about standing up for what is right. Being faithful against all odds, because it's about different odds.
And the story of Nehemiah at the end stands somewhat different than all of the other parts in the lesson. And it feels like a breath of fresh air. It's amazing how the worries of one man only, Prophet Nehemiah, then his honest prayer, and then his decisiveness was able to change the looks of one whole city like Jerusalem. Of course, all lying on the merits of God's promises.
When you are on the side of God, the sense for injustice is very strong. Why do we have to take it? We want to rebuild the temple, to stand up. Initially, this work can provoke mockery, but as it progresses, it will face attacks and anger.
God is still a winner. Are we looking for his help?
It is a controversy, and it does continue. But there is victory in the wilderness coming up next week.